Welcome back, everyone, to the long-awaited and hopefully highly anticipated next episode of Stories from the Unbound Shores, where we last left off before we took a hiatus for life stuff. At least on the recording, it seems there may be a discrepancy between what was done and what was recorded. We left off with having finished defending this smaller outpost, war camp, whatever you'd like to call it, Raven Queen, from a siege of undead. Well, attack of undead. Siege is not quite the right word for that.
Close enough.
But due to the length of time that has passed between the past episode and this one of our players has not been able to return, and so we will be starting with the scene of his character, Dirk, leaving along with Eskel. While Tristan is still able to play with us, he did not feel that Eskel would have reason to stay if Dirk was leaving. So he'll have a different.
I feel like it's unfair to say it that way. He definitely has reason to stay. He just has more reason to stay with Dirk.
Okay. Fair point.
Sorry?
Nope, you're good.
I sent you a message.
Oh.
That's not okay. So, we'll get to his new character in a moment. First, even though it wasn't covered in the previous two episodes, when Ari had been sent this direction, she had come. Al had come bearing along with the gold, a note for Eskel and Dirk. And so, in the efforts of speeding things up, when they, after the battle, when they get a chance to read it, they will find that it contains what are tantamount to orders to come back to the Isle of Heaven for a new assignment, as their previous one has ended. And while they, I imagine at least, would like to stay and pursue the Death Knight, orders are orders, and that seems to indicate that there might be a perhaps more worthy cause.
Is there is there a note that I should have the contents of, or is this explanation all that we get?
Sadly, it's all that you get for right now. I was tap dancing as fast as I could this week, but that is one of the few things that I did not manage to complete.
Okay.
If you want to spitball some reasons, go for it.
I'll come up with it, don't worry. So I guess we'll just jump right into it, as Dirk and I have the note. We would gather the party to let them know what's going on. And holding up the note, at least to show the official seal from our temple, and with a lot of regret in his eyes, Eskel would say, "I'm sorry that it has come to this. Our temple, unfortunately, they've engaged in some action that requires our immediate presence, Dirk and myself. And normally I would argue an order like this, but I actually believe that between the four of you, sorry, I don't think I would assume this, Roland is staying with them, so between the three of you at least, I think that you are well educated as to what needs to be done and have a plan for how to move forward. I wish we could be there to help you finish this, but I do trust each of you get this done and to free Elysium from this Death Knight. With any luck, that will impact the presence of undead on the continent.
Have they told you what was so much more important than killing a Death Knight?
It looks like war.
With who?
I'm worried that this Death Knight, specifically, is just a prelude to something larger. As you know, Dirk and I, we follow the teachings of Bahamut, and Bahamut's greatest enemy is Tiamat. The temple has been made aware of movements of followers of the Dragon Queen.
In addition to Vecna and Orcus?
All of them are always moving. The gods are very rarely still. But in the gamble between these multiple evils, for our temple, the most important is always Tiamat. This isn't necessarily the path I would choose. I would see this through and then head there, but as I can't guarantee how much time that would take, and given the disposition of our forces, I believe it's very important that Dirk and I return to the temple to report our findings, as this may become another theater of combat in the near future, and the temple must know. We have useful information to bring back on that, and specifically, our power in combat is going to be needed wherever the front line happens to be. That is what has to happen. That is
Has to.
the formal portion. What isn't written in this note is how much I have come to respect each of you as a pillar of good, choosing to take on these steep odds against this creature that none of us has ever fought or seen before now. You would notice that he's, wearing his old armor. He has a bundle, by his foot. He's going to hoist. Say, I would be too far away for you to benefit from any protection, or vice versa. Belisari.
She had already kind of, like, rolled her eyes and turned away from you when you were starting to get into the sappy stuff.
I know. He says it to her back.
But that Her breath kind of hitches. And you kind of see her collect herself in one big deep breath and then spin back around.
I hope that someone else here would be willing to take up the role of sharing the load of the front line, as I had. Setting the bag down near Al and Aurelion.
Al would actually hold her arms out for it.
Are you sure it wouldn't benefit you more there if I were to return the other half?
He makes eye contact for a moment, and you can see a small smile where he says, I wouldn't want to reduce the magic power of this group for the fight ahead when where we're going we'll have access to an arsenal.
She snorts in response. Just don't die, Eskel.
You know me. I've got Dirk to keep me from dying.
I imagine just kind of smirks at that.
I know you, and that's why I'm worried.
Like I said, any trouble I get myself into, I've got Dirk.
You two better stay safe.
If we're released from our duty in a timely manner, I know that I would return here to try to make sure that all is still going well with you. After handing off the item, he would face Melisari for a moment. Simply, standing kind of at parade rest. It says, I'm very glad to have made your acquaintance and gotten the chance to work with you.
She kind of... Like, you see her a little bit, like, at war with herself. Kind of just, like, glaring at you, and eyes darting back and forth, and... She just kind of closes them for a second and says, like I said, don't get yourself killed. When we wrap up here, we'll check in.
I will keep my life. But I need you also to not close your heart to other drow once I am gone.
She snorts.
I know that Ulf has twisted a great many of my people, and some...
Unless she's gonna kind of hold her hand up and like stop you there. Unless you're telling me that you are expecting me to personally go save all the drow, you do not have to worry about me turning my backs on the ones that we've met.
I just know that there are more here, and you might meet them. That's all.
Your
And
reputation caught my interest. But you? You have nothing to worry about.
I have been grateful for your respect and your companionship. That is what I wished to say. same goes for the rest of you, of course. I don't want any of you dying either. There is great evil out there. We've shown him what for twice already, but his power grows each time he returns. I believe that the woman...
Eleanor?
That's the one. I'm like, I know it's a name from Sarah's campaign. What is it? Eleanor. I believe that she is the key. And you know this. Use it. Dirk, I imagine, stands stoically. You see his expression changing slightly with each portion of Eskel speaking, often rolling his eyes. But
Yep.
otherwise
Stop,
maintaining neutral expression.
Indeed. Although I have talked with Sam, and he will offer up the magic items he was holding on to.
Oh, right, he had the sentinel thing, didn't he?
He had a number of things. He had a potion of speed, a potion of rest, a sending stone, the helmet, and the map.
No.
Oh yeah, the map. You get the Marauders map.
Ooh, I do get the Marauders map. Is he going to specifically hand it over to someone not me?
I haven't asked that yet. 1 second.
It looks like I had the other sending stone, potion of rest, and the mark of Bahamut besides the armor, and I don't see Eskel giving up the mark of Bahamut.
Indeed. He kind of can't.
Indeed, cannot. So, gain another potion of rest, and the other sending stone from Eskel as well. These,
Would that be in the bundle?
I don't think so. I think the bundle was just supposed to be the armor.
Gotcha.
He kind of remembers the other things when Dirk gives them up and says, oh yeah, I have some of that too.
So, from the looks of it, he will actually hand you the map and say, just be careful with it.
Wait, he's handing it to me?
Yep. That seems to be what I am getting from text chat.
Potion of invulnerability.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to figure out how I'm reacting to having the map after this.
Like, you wanted it, but this is never how you wanted it?
Exactly. Like, she kind of hesitantly takes it. Her hands might be shaking a little bit, and she stuffs it into her bag. Did you guys... What am I asking? Was the amulet that let us fast travel to the shrine...
That's the mark of Bahamut that Eskel can't
that-
part
yeah.
with.
Guys, yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, he kind of has an attachment to that one.
Yeah, obviously. I was not expecting them to.
No, was assuring
It
you that
would've
it was
been
the same
helpful to
item.
it. Yeah, it would have been helpful to us, but... And there might be a little bit of wistfulness about it leaving, but...
Through this whole exchange, both Eskel and Dirk are maintaining the decorum of soldiers and of righteous paladins. They are interacting with you, in as far as, looks of pride and firm handshakes, but anything outside of that, none of them is initiating. They seem rigid. I imagine that Dirk is a bit enigmatic about the whole thing, but Askel definitely seems like this isn't the choice that he would make had he the ability to make choices.
And there is one other thing I'd like to address. It's not really going to affect the scene much. So I forgot some of the original writing that was also in that letter. There would also be a note from, I believe it was a section of the Temple of Bahamut. I think it was the Claws of Bahamut, Talons, maybe something like that. Generally around vengeance paladins that focus more on the pursuing evildoers aspects. That would have had a message with it saying that they kind of covered any of the penalties that you guys had incurred and what they felt was the proper course of action with Lady Amelie and things.
Do we know that stands, or should there be any concern that was contingent upon us actually taking down the person responsible for the death?
No, that still stands. That
Okay.
was just kind of a you've been doing the right thing. There shouldn't be a penalty for that. Kind of blaming the pencil pushers over at Arathis.
Gotcha. Well, that's at least some good news. Hey, old friend?
Indeed.
I shouldn't drag this out. It has been good to work with you all, and I do pray to Bahamut for your safety. Bring his justice in our absence.
We will.
Askel gives another smile, and then he salutes according to the Temple of Bahamut.
Hang on. Sayanine's the one all about following your own course, right?
Yeah.
Then in a very rare break in any sort of tradition, Melisari will kind of see you off with Sayanine guide you.
He was clearly preparing to turn to leave when you call back his attention. And he will hold eye contact as you say that. Or nodding, and you see him unlike the salute, you'll see him grip his hand in front of him and put it to his chest as though catching the words and holding them.
Again, stay safe. Safe travels to both of you. Al would have a sad smile.
Yeah. Melisari is doing her absolute best to stay impassive, but there might be wetness in her eyes.
Eskel turns away and then seems to catch himself, and you see him kind of sticking his finger next to his head, like he's pulling the thought back. Just, oh yes, try to stay out of prison this time, Al. I won't be around to let you out.
She'll chuckle a little bit. No promises.
Of course.
Melisari just kind of raises an eyebrow.
Early on, if you are the frontliner, that armor would probably suit you well.
Al holds it out in case he was willing to take it.
Thomas?
Oh, to me?
Yes. To Aurelion.
You are Aurelion, aren't you?
It is heavy armor, isn't it?
It
morphing.
has a particular property that it will change to any armor type.
I'll wave my hand. I'm just like, no, I'm not comfortable in that. I like my. And he's like just kind of pats his clothes. It's like, I like my comforts.
That includes clothes.
Yes,
Okay.
because barbarian.
No, he means the armor can change to clothes.
Yeah, but it's still armor.
Not for the
What?
purposes of unarmored defense at that point. You'd just be getting the effects of the armor without, like, the armor part. You just begin, like, the enchantment part. It would be like transferring the enchantment to the clothes you're wearing.
Oh, okay. Is that made clear to Aurelian?
We will make it clear to Aurelian. However many
Both
times we have to
Eskel
rephrase
and
it.
Eskel and Malsari would be well aware of the ways it can shift things from having attuned to different halves.
Well, I wouldn't be totally certain about the armor, but I would have assumed that it worked the same way as my thing.
One can
Like,
become
I know
any
it
weapon,
really-
the other can become any armor. You guys can mix and match. I just want you guys protecting each other. That's what I care about.
Oh, I'm gonna lose that magic bonus. One second. I had +2 to my AC under Haskell bonus,
Haskell.
so that's gone.
Goodbye, Haskell bonus.
Guess that's what Orange was. Had Shield of Faith.
Oh. There we go.
Mmm.
If that's made clear, then yeah, I'll take the armor.
Al would hand it over willingly.
Good. Alright. I think they've said goodbye enough times.
Yep.
Yeah.
Have we, though?
It's hard, though we will never stop if we don't stop now.
This is true.
I mean, Melisari has ceased talking and is simply, like, glaring at you guys in her Melisari way.
Yes, Eskel is smiling back sadly, as though he understands the glare, but can
There's
do
a glare
nothing for
slash
it.
grimace. Yeah.
Leave.
Alright. Do you walk or do you teleport?
I think that we should be teleporting.
Do the two of you have the words you need?
Between the two of us, I believe, so... Or,
Well, regardless, you at least know those specific words, even if you
True.
don't know the entire languages.
that's true.
Jesus. I forgot about that.
Fine. I don't speak Draconic.
I need to get my thing up.
So, a whipping of silver blue light, and they fade.
And not long after, like, moments after they disappear, you guys will hear off to the side, the east specifically, oh, you don't see that every day. What'd it do to him? And you'll see him gesturing towards Roland, whose holy symbol and eyes seem to be glowing.
What?
Which also fades after a brief moment.
You see the older drow, though I suppose that physically he looks probably the same age as Eskel and the other elves in the party. sort of shake himself out of this reverie he'd been in momentarily. I'm sorry. Did I miss something important?
Is that a voice he's always used?
And he was under the control of Derek before, who doesn't do voices for his characters.
Well, yes, I know, but I mean,
Okay, you mean in character? Yes.
Yes.
It will not be a suddenly new voice.
It will not be a suddenly new voice. Okay. What? Did we miss something? She's looking at him suspiciously.
You notice that on his face is a mix of surprise, concern, and pride. Like, he seems to sort of bubble through the emotions on cycle for a moment before, like, gripping the holy symbol dangling from his neck and slowly raising his eyes to yours and saying, "Yes, it seems that my years of devotion to the one true goddess of the Drow are being rewarded." Edith Ray has called me to her service.
You're dying?
Melisari sighs heavily. Will you be leaving us
Al
too,
raises
then?
an eyebrow.
On the contrary, in light of your friends leaving, and the fact that I have been granted power to serve my lady, I can, I think, serve a greater purpose were I to accompany you and find other drow along the way. My lady has not before had such power to grant to people such as myself, which made it hard to gain followers. Hard to free my people from the tyranny of her mother. I may not be young as I once was, but I am certainly filled with this mission.
So there was a moment when Melisari was going to open her mouth and say something sarcastically, and you could probably see that in her face. But the expression changes as soon as you say that you had been granted power that she hadn't previously been able to. And she's gonna ask, how does that happen? Can I religion check this?
Yes.
Because I'm assuming it's like a. Anyway, I'm just gonna religion check it. Once I bring up my character sheet, it's gonna fail anyway. It's a 2 on die. I don't remember. I want to say it's probably 9 total, but I gotta pull up.
Okay, pretty damn knowledge roll. Bonus that is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my highest is 7, but let me check.
And you had said that this happening changed his amulet, right, to this item?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure that it is the one he's wearing and I don't have to, like, go find a new one.
Kind of, like, it would be the same one, it would just kind of made the details a bit more fine, a bit more exact.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, it is a 9 total. My fucking
All right,
2 on die.
You are not sure, but you figure if you're gonna know, asking the people of a goddess who recently rose to power is probably a great place to start.
I was going to ask. I just wanted to see if I knew the answer on my own. Thank you.
I
said
just
no.
pointed out what it would have told you.
In fact, I think I actually phrased it as a question to Roland, and then was like, wait a sec, do I already know that?
Yes.
So I'm phrasing it as a question to Roland. How does that happen?
Well, when people rise through the ministry in other faiths, they are given certain rights that mark them as a speaker for this god that they serve. I have been through these rites again and again in my time helping my fellow drow escape the Underdark and maintain our lives here on the surface. So it seems to me that now she has the power to grant me in light of this devotion I have given her.
So you've done the rites enough times, and now she's finally got enough power from that?
It could be number of followers. It is difficult to know with gods such as Illustray. She is not like these other established gods in the Pantheon, who can go as they please and influence as they will. She lived in the shadow of her parents for millennia, and has been working hard to influence enough drow out from under her mother and send us back to the surface. But as you have seen, very few follow these guiding principles. Any doubt in the power of Illustray. And so, it has been my life's mission, since knowing her, to guide others to her light. And as you saw, I have succeeded with some. Beating this paladin of Bahamut, seeing that there are others fighting to the surface even without knowing Illustray. It gives me hope that there is a greater likelihood that I can succeed. And now, perhaps it was the push that she needed. I do not know. I don't, and I am sorry. This is the best explanation that I can offer. But suffice to say that I now have power to help you, and the desire to do so. You have already told me the plight against which you fight is this night. Forgive the rhyming. I wish to help.
I thought he was already coming with us. Wasn't he?
I think he
Wasn't
was,
that the
but let's just brush. Can we? I normally don't want to take this brush. I would like to try and brush over instances as the character has transitioned to ownership.
Okay.
Especially with the long gap, I'm not entirely sure what has been said and what hasn't.
I still wish to help you. I also wish to help any of my drow brethren that we might find along the way.
The only problem is I don't know how to respond now.
Ari is in that boat as well, Kate.
In the sense of, I'm like, that was already the plan. So, I mean, you just have more power now to do it with us, and yay, cool.
I think celebration is in order. You have my permission to celebrate.
Yay.
Pardon my ignorance, but your goddess, correct me if I'm wrong, what is she known for? Again, pardon my blatant ignorance, Al would mention.
Oh yeah, Al wasn't there for that.
She is not. That is why this is sudden. and unexpected. She is not known by almost any, unfortunately, despite her centuries of working to try and help my people. What she is estranged daughter of Loth, who wishes to free the Drow from her mother's tyranny, lead them to the surface, to live peacefully with the races up here.
I see.
It is an example your friend who just left was already setting.
Yes, in fact. I don't know if you all have already had this conversation, but I would not mind it at all if you were to accompany us.
I accept. I know that you are facing this terrifying Death Knight, and I wish to lend my power. Wish lend Illustre's power to you.
It's appreciated. Thank you.
Nods. His red eyes flashing in the torchlight around you.
So during the conversation regarding Illustrate, between, more specifically, Melisari and Roland, Melisari was getting a, like, I don't know how to describe the look, but, like, triumphant, mischievously pleased. I don't know. She was basically being like, I like the sound of this. Let's make the drow come out of the depths. Or not make, but you know what I mean.
Help.
That support for that was showing on her face. But then when Roland said, I think this is cause to celebrate or whatever, she hastily turned around and now is redressing the Aarakocra.
Al at that would raise an eyebrow mid-conversation.
Nobody wants to celebrate Roland.
Apparently.
I am happy for Roland. I am not gonna celebrate him replacing our paladin. Anyway. Have we met this guy yet in the current canon?
Let's go with no.
Yeah, I guess not. No.
Ari's question is which, because Al has not really encountered, other than just now, either.
Ari has not met Roland, and none of you well, you've met briefly, not much. But none of you have really met the Aarakocra.
Okay.
What did he say again as he was approaching?
He was originally saying you don't see that every day, and what it do to him, just kind of drawing attention to.
Oh, I see.
Roland's thing.
So Melisari will come over here and be like, I don't know. I'm trying to, like, figure out how to say it without being totally rude, but she's asking who he is.
Oh. I am the leader of this camp. High priest, if you would.
Ah, perfect. Just the person we wanted to see.
And he'll give his name, but it's more akin to, like, a sound than a name.
Yeah.
Reek! That was his name.
Yeah, that's what we called him.
Yep. Urreek.
anyway.
I suppose celebration will be taking place after Owl mentioned.
Well, if a celebration is what's in order, I do believe I owe you and your allies there, along with sadly those who have just left, a great deal. Things could have gone much worse had they caught us by surprise.
So here's the next issue. Did we already receive rewards from him?
No.
No. He hadn't really given you anything last time that I can recall.
But-
He was just kind of willing to give you the the commune,
Commune.
which you'll still get in this case.
Okay. Does he say anything after, like, owing us a great deal?
1 second, I have a PM to reply to.
Okay. I was like, I have 75 platinum and I don't remember why.
That's a frick load of platinum.
Yeah, it is.
Somebody got paid by the party.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
no,
right.
I know, but that was, I think by the end of everything, I had like 100 platinum for that. Or not 100, 10 platinum for that.
Well, the other half of Al's parcel, besides the letters, when they arrived, was actually payment from some of the part of the Temple of the Raven Queen for services rendered, along with the King of Mount Mistal for services rendered.
Look at us doing the good stuff and getting the money.
All right, back to PM real quick.
So Aurelion put that, air quotes, armor on.
The no longer at armor.
It was armor, and then
What
it
does it
became
look like now?
clothing. I imagine whatever you want it to look like. Imagine your favorite
but
clothing.
But does it like
Like, it can be any wearable object. You could make it even just a ring if you wanted.
Oh, look at that.
That's
attunement? Does it require attunement? That's what I was
It
trying to.
would, and that is what does the shaping.
So for a little while, you just have all of Eskel's armor on. And then it...
Does it fit?
Fits well enough. They're both elves, similar builds. He's just a bit beefier.
Yeah, we were both Dex elves, so...
Huh?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Aurelion's dex and strength, he went full physical.
Yeah.
The beefcake.
beefy boy.
I'm hungry.
That gave you... Okay.
No! I was already getting hungry. It's just that my stomach happened to grumble.
I know, I was being a butt.
I made a pot of mac before the game.
Rude. Both of you so rude.
Alright. I believe that's PM things dealt with. What was the question directed at me?
Was there a question directed at?
I think it was about loot, I think.
Whether
Oh,
or not we had already received
and I think we
stuff from the Aarakocra.
I don't believe you had.
Yeah.
Unless you guys have, like, a number of, like, new items or something that I don't remember. Like,
What's the name of this armor? So I can.
the
Morphing armor of.
Morphine Armor of Warding, I believe. And there's 2 variants, I think, like Target and Caster. You'll need both to swap between based on which side the toggle's on.
Which the purpose of that is just so that you have the right numbers in your stats.
Right. So.
It should be a purple item that starts with the word
I
morphing.
I have them. It's just I don't know. Am I the target or the caster?
You want both because that's the thing you flip as an action. Which one of those versions you have equipped?
And Melisari can give you a brief in-character rundown on that.
Right now, we're going to have to just go
Yeah.
off of... Like, if we have to use the stats, we'll have to just go off of adjusting them manually, because it's still set to half plate, which, I mean, wouldn't be bad for you. It would just give you stealth disadvantage.
Warding bond.
Okay,
Spells.
back to the... I'm just going to take a quick peek at Melisari's sheet. Anyone got something new? I expect it would be her. Holy oil still used. Yeah, it looks like if you got anything, it was money, and
Okay.
a little more money wouldn't hurt.
This is always a true statement.
But then again, we aren't strapped for cash, though,
Don't say that.
Yeah, you say that until you start looking at spell components.
I don't need spell components, so
Yes, but the wizard and cleric do.
Wait, oh shit.
Hola.
Alright, so, he'll, Uric will take a look at the group and say, and looking at Roland and his assumably somewhat scavenged outfit, as he wouldn't exactly have access to the finer things in life.
I made some of it.
And say, well, if you're looking to celebrate, it seems you've just joined, well, not our ranks, but something adjacent. And I think I shall give you what I was given near the start of my journey. And he'll actually start to take off his armor.
Weird.
This is armor of a special material. It should, while it will guard against blows about as well as any other, it's made of a particular material and put together in such a way that there are no weak points, no place that can be struck for a more killing blow than any other. As he gives Roland a set of adamantine armor.
I am familiar with the material. We used to mine it in the Underdark.
Do I recognize it? As
You can roll either a history or arcana check if you'd like.
And I only ask because I've used that adamantine chisel. Hang on.
Oh yeah, I forgot. You are familiar with material. Yes, actually.
I humbly accept the gift.
So I would
You
recognize it
don't-
as adamantine.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't necessarily know its propers as armor, but you
Yeah,
might be more familiar with its benefits as a focus.
Al
The
wouldn't
main
know
reason I'm asking
shoot
is
about this.
what?
I'm just saying Al wouldn't know shit about this.
I'm mainly asking as to whether I recognize the material because she's going to be a little peeved that Dirk and Eskel just left and missed seeing that adamantine armor.
But yes, you would recognize the material.
So she's just gonna be like, "Is that?" and watch in like shock as it passes hands. You've got to be kidding me. Those idiots.
There is something the matter.
Everything's the matter, but we press on.
He frowns at this statement. There some way I can make things less the matter?
You can't bring them back,
I understand.
but joining us is something. At the very least, you'll help keep us alive.
As a servant of the Dark Lady, I accept this task, and will do my all to protect your lives.
Oh god. That wasn't an order.
Al would raise an eyebrow looking at Melisari.
Melisari kind of returns the look of, that was not okay. Is what's kind of on her face.
Yeah.
And the Uri will continue. For my kind, there is not often cause for celebration, nor time to utilize it. But I believe this may be an exception. So, if it is refreshments, or at least some sort of relaxation, I'm sure we can make something of it.
Thank you very much for this gift. I will put it to good use. I imagine that you refer to the fact that elves live a great deal longer than other races when you say you do not have time. Am I correct?
I more than most. My kind do not live long. I am only 20, but I would be considered an elder among my people.
I am sorry to hear that.
I will be long turned to dust before you even consider gracing the grave. But for me, that is no fear, no worry. I know where I am going, and it will be a great time as I arrive.
Melisari's just kind of looking back and forth like, is the conversation over yet? No? Okay.
I am certain that your mistress, the Raven Queen, has gratitude for your great services.
I do what I can, in what time I have. Now, with that, no more standing around. There's work to be doing, fun to be had.
Just
Unless
stand around
there
and
are
put this on.
questions you have for me. You
Yes,
had said that you were looking to see me.
we did need to, we had a few questions regarding Death Knights, if you think you might be able to assist in any way.
Well, I can certainly do my best. Go off and consult some of the tomes we have here. If that is insufficient, there may be additional options. What is it you had in mind?
This is where it gets trickier. Because I have the questions that we asked, but I have zero recollection of how we got there. We need to get there somewhere. Anyway.
It had been the result of Haskell and Dirk debating about whether or not souls count certain ways for spells.
Yeah.
And somewhat, as I recall, there was some discussion about trying to figure out also, like, is it, like, is it, like, can the angle of convincing him to try and be with his wife in the afterlife be an option, or if they'd get treated differently?
Yeah. Okay. How much have we been comfortable disclosing? Did we bring up... Does anybody remember if we brought up our task with him last time? See, now that we've
What do you
had a little time
mean?
to jog.
I mean, you would have eventually for the commune, but you haven't brought it up in the current line of camp.
I know.
Yeah. So you can bring it up now.
No, I know. I'm considering how much I want to in terms of secrecy and whatnot.
Al would grab Melisari's sleeve before she goes to say anything and says it in a hushed tone to try and avoid eyes. Just remember, don't bring up the thing about me getting possessed.
Don't bring it up.
I'm 99% certain everybody here would be like, what?
Got it. Don't bring that up.
So what happens when it goes?
Gives you a thumbs up.
Kidding.
Wait,
so
Reek thumbs up her.
I swear to God. I said I...
It doesn't matter. You are the same distance from Elisari as you are from him.
Oh,
you would probably have to actually pull me away.
Can I real quick do that? Because I was trying to be...
I mean, if you'd like, but his indication is like he doesn't have a problem with it and doesn't intend to go talking about it if you want to just keep it going.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if word got back to...
Okay, we did a sidebar. How about that?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay,
If
so
that's what you want, sure. Sidebar it is.
Yeah, we did a brief sidebar and now we're back. I guess our biggest question would be, what happens to a Death Knight after they repent and are destroyed? Is that known at all?
Well, my first guess would be that they die. That it does tend to be the result of ending the curse of undeath.
They die as a result of repenting?
Well, is it what binds them in that state?
I suppose that would make sense. Oh shit, I gotta check on something.
You must know that it'll take more than mere words for that to take place.
Yes, most certainly. But what happens to their soul afterwards? Does it move on as any other soul?
Well, regardless, it would be sent to the Raven Queen. How it's viewed would depend strictly on one thing. whether undeath was something he sought or something he was afflicted with, not a desired outcome.
I kind of look back and forth between the party. What do we call that? Sought? I mean... I guess it depends on Atlas as a person.
Roland would have some insight into that, as he had some interaction with Atlas pre-death.
What does my insight consist of?
Like, there would have been some, interactions in a little bit of fighting side by side, as Roland's group was kind of in the business of trying to protect people that were traveling.
Mm-hmm.
And from kind of fireside chats afterwards of getting wounds patched up and things, or camping for the night in safety of numbers,
Mm-hmm.
he would have at least gotten the sense that, like, he was certainly not, like, didn't at least seem like the type of person that would go seeking undeath, eternal life, any of that. Like, his wife was his world. That's the main sense you got from him.
Okay. It seems to me from my interactions with him before he died, when I knew him long ago, that his wife was everything of importance to him. So, as long as he has not fundamentally changed who he is in the intervening years, if you were to offer him a way to be with her, I believe he would take it.
Yes, the only issue is whether the Raven Queen will then still accept him.
I do not think death is about being accepted by the Raven Queen.
We need to have some way to convince him that he'll be able to be with his wife in death.
You would need to know who she served, and who he served before death. The Raven Queen is, a go-between, unless you are directly worshipping her. It is not the Raven Queen's judgment one must pass, unless it is the Raven Queen one serves. If he served the Stray, for instance, he would need to seek her forgiveness to join her in death. Do you understand?
I think I follow.
I do, although that seems at odds with what Reek just said.
Well,
he served
he-
Bahamut in life, correct?
what?
Right, I think so.
Atlas served Bahamut in life, I would have known that, right?
Yes. Like, he at least had, at the time with, well, no, he wouldn't have served Bahamut at the time, because he'd still been under the impression he'd been kind of cast out by, agents of Bahamut at that point.
Was he serving Tiamat?
He would not have been serving Tiamat at that time.
Okay.
He probably would have been serving Say9, trying to make the best of his life and his situation.
You should find out. We... excuse me. We will want to know
where it is she will go when she is freed from this death prison, and whether he can accompany her there if he repents.
We'll have to get back quickly then, in order to find that out.
The cleric could ask these questions of their god. It may not be necessary to get the answers directly from these people.
A god would be able to know who they served.
Gods know
I mean,
many things that are outside
Who
of...
another follower served. What god... You know what I'm trying to say.
I do know. It is alright. I believe that it is possible for them to have this information. And if they do not have this information, they will tell us they do not. But I think that even if they do not, it is a good idea to ask.
Better to try to get an answer than not ask the question at all.
Well, yes, it was a question of whether we ask the god now or ask Eleanor upon return.
Al would shudder a little bit.
I think if we do it this way, then asking Eleanor upon return becomes the backup if there is not an answer here. Or it becomes verification that the answer we get here is correct.
The next concern, though, is whether there are questions that we can't get an answer to upon return. We should think carefully if this is what the path we intend to choose.
In regards to if I can get the answers, it is likely not all clerics would necessarily be able to do the same, but the Raven Queen's domain is death, and where the souls will journey along that path. So, having an idea of where they'll be going is rather within her purview.
This makes sense. Just to clarify, we have decided at this point to cast Commune. Is this the direction that this conversation is taking?
It was kind of implied, and Uri has not objected.
Okay.
And he'll also say, and one thing I will say, while it's very, very uncommon, the Raven Queen has bargained on occasion to try and redirect souls where they'd be happiest, with family or things of that nature, even if they don't quite align. Some of her own clerics have gone to join their family in the realms of other gods.
This is something she might do even if neither were her own.
It is not impossible, but it is not likely. There would need to be a strong case. But
Well, I think preventing a Death Knight terrorizing these lands is a reasonably strong case.
that is not a bad start. An undead that can only be undone by his own doings has a unique bargaining chip. One that is difficult to play, however, as he is also at that point a creature of her hatred. But that will still boil down to whether or not he sought on death, or if it is something that was more afflicted upon him. For there are many, especially here, that have become undead that have had nothing to do with this, and they are certainly not treated like those who would seek it. In fact, a great many are given the express lane, if you will. They jumped the front of the line, as they have suffered long enough.
Wait, what?
He was saying that that while you don't need while Roland was right that you don't need to pass the Raven Queen's guidance, she's not above special treatment. Those who seek undeath may get harsher. Those who ended up with it may get better than average. And if they end up undead by no fault of their own.
Oh, like for in terms of whether she's willing to bargain.
As to whether she's willing to bargain or just there's a lot of souls to work on.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a queue.
But your group has done good work. Work that helped the Raven Queen in her duties, especially against the undead. So, perhaps she will be willing to hear out your request.
It is possible. Especially if you have done work like you have done here elsewhere. You would be smiled upon, at the least.
I have not personally with them, but they have told the stories. I believe them. He looks to Melisari. Right? You guys have done good work before.
She ain't paying attention to him.
Ow.
Al would nod, kind of.
Shall we ask her, hypothetically, if he will repent, if she would be willing to... Well, I guess we should start by asking if Eleanor is... if they are, in fact, destined for different places.
This would be smart.
Well, if these are the questions, if there are questions that wish to be asked of my goddess, then perhaps we should take things indoors, where, at the very least, some chairs can be arranged.
Has Roland been murdered with words?
No, he's putting on armor.
Oh.
Oh, let me tell you that the straps can be a little difficult to figure out the first time.
Thank you.
But after that, he'll head to the other end. There's a area underneath the tower. Excuse me.
Be looking for a cam.
Bless you.
There isn't one in this map.
Rude. Okay.
There is one in the next one, but I don't think we'll be getting to it today.
Yeah, no.
There ended up being lots of discussion, which is good. It gives me more time to rebalance the monster after the playtest this morning.
Comforting.
I mean, you could take that one of two ways. It was either too strong, he is being made weaker, or was too weak, he is being made stronger.
Honestly, it applies either way.
You know, I guess that's fair. Kate, when is your thing?
He said take it indoors. I went indoors.
Yes, but you have to be the one with the heart out today.
How the fuck did I... Wait, what?
Time.
Oh, time?
When do you need to leave?
5:30 is probably
5:30. So that's in what,
where I
10
should call it.
minutes?
What? No,
Hour.
it's in an hour and 10 minutes.
Okay. I'm
Lost
like,
myself though. My
sorry.
token, it disappeared.
Probably ended up top.
Yeah, moving in there can be difficult if you're not, especially if you're not using arrow keys.
I use arrow keys, so I had no trouble.
Uh,
Okay, but I had seen her, and I tried to move her, and I failed at moving her, and now I can't even find her.
you were in like
She's
the
up in
third
the
floor of
sky.
the tower.
She's up in the sky.
I'm giving her.
Oh, there we are. Okay.
Okay, she's back down next to
Aurelio.
Aurelion.
Okay, there we go.
Got to lock my reveal plane. 1 second. We'll just wait up here. Alright, so it is best that you know your questions in advance. You may ask 3 in the form of yes or no questions. On occasion, you will get unclear or a slightly longer response, but do not count on it. Do you know what you wish to ask?
Well, first a question for you. In terms of where souls get directed when they die, is it dependent on what god they followed at the end of their life in particular, if they had changed allegiances during their life?
Primary factors are the god they believe in, the strongest, whether or not that's more than one or has changed over time doesn't matter for the most part. So it is somewhat the last deity, as that's typically the one in which they have the strongest belief. So there's that. That deity's feelings towards them, and whether or not their soul is spoken for, as some have pre-existing arrangements.
Spoken for? Pre-existing?
I would not suggest dealing with a devil.
So we're saying this is like somebody actively seeking out undeath, and they've made plans for their death.
Not
become
necessarily.
not undead.
It doesn't have to be undead. They could have just died, but have exchanged their resting place for power in this life.
Ah, I see. Anyways, well, we can sort of sidestep anyway. We could ask perhaps whether the souls of the Death Knight Atlas and his wife Eleanor would be judged by the same god. Does that make sense?
That could work. As verbiage can be somewhat specific when using this spell to contact the higher planes, I will simply repeat whatever you have written down. Best to go from a written source so as not to make a mistake.
Indeed.
Ah,
And
hell.
Melisari already has a notebook out and is scribbling in it.
He was about to, grab for some like pencil and paper and sees that and just kind of waves a hand dismissively at what he was about to do.
Another question. Regarding... she's Spirit? Is that the official name for her?
I believe so. It's been a while. Spirit, ghost.
Yeah, whichever she is what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Would one of those, a person kept on this plane due to attachments, who doesn't necessarily want to be here as an undead, would that still count as her choosing it? Because she's here due to those attachments.
No, it is a... It is not an active choice. It is a strong connection
Yes. I see.
that will still bind you to the place or person. It would be treated the same as if you'd been brought back as a zombie far after your death. It is not of your choosing. Simply the forces of the world or others in it.
Okay. I mean, I guess we could ask specifically to confirm that.
For instance, there is great pity shown to most everything that was felled this day, with the exception of their leader, the White. Those are intelligent. Those have sought this. Those will be spared no mercy.
Marvelous.
But a skeleton is just a reanimated corpse. It does not trap the spirit in any way.
The skeleton does, but it does not take them entirely, but it takes enough of them to disturb their rest. What should be peaceful. But it is not something that people generally can choose to make themselves. If something is a skeleton, at least to the best of my knowledge, it is always due to someone else yanking their soul from someplace else and shoving it into their old bones. Typically, the easiest way to know the difference is whether or not it acts of free will, or if it's simply following orders of something higher up, whatever it was that created it.
That sounds bad for this night.
It does, but they are a corner case, as it were. They do maintain their intelligence, their freedom of will, and it is something that can be sought, but it is not necessarily. Because in one's final moments, things can be said or done that you might not do under ordinary circumstances to break one's oath. When pushed to the brink, some will snap.
I think that's a fair assessment of Atlas. As far as I can tell. There is a deep sadness.
Yeah. Let's just hope you're alright.
Any thoughts for other questions we may need to ask the Raven Queen? Also, Aurelian said, be right back.
You can't think of a third. I'm always fond of some of the more personal ones, like what are our favorite colors? I haven't asked that one yet. I mean, I imagine black. It's kind of a given, but it doesn't hurt to check.
Melisari seems unamused.
As does Al.
What? Someone has to ask. If I ever get through a day where I haven't, used all of them, I absolutely do that.
Getting to know a god on a personal level.
Have you recorded these answers for posterity?
But more than posterity, getting, likes, dislikes, the closer you can get, the more you understand, the better you can serve. There's a journal around here somewhere. He starts kind of looking around. Yeah. Yeah.
What do you put in the question now?
Is he asking me?
Yes.
Or, so far the only question I have written is... Shit, I didn't actually write it in my doc. Is, will the souls of the Death Knight Atlas and his wife Eleanor be judged in death by the same god? Or, I suppose, would they have been? I mean, if, undeath is frustrating. Because they're not technically dead.
It seems that if what you care, is that they can end up together, then perhaps focus on that. This intermediate step, this judgment, seems to me could happen by two different gods, and they still end up in the same place, perhaps.
My concern is that's dependent on too many factors in this case.
But if we know it is possible, then that is all we need to know, correct? And I simply mean to say, like, you could say, I think the question that I'm thinking is, can Eleanor and Atlas be together in death? Simple yes or no. Then we can build other questions off of that. Because if the answer is no, then it does not matter what we do, or whose favor we seek. Am I wrong?
She was scribbling as you were continuing to talk.
In a way that said that she was writing down based on what he said, or that says that she's ignoring him?
In a way that says that she's writing down what he's saying.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you can take it either way, I suppose. Except that she will then speak. Hang on.
Mhm.
Perhaps the better wording then would be, is it possible for the souls of the Death Knight Atlas and his wife Eleanor?
Very good. And then from there, we could ask if it is yes.
If what?
I said, if from there, if the answer is yes, would ask more specific about a specific god. Does so and so serve so and so? Will Atlas soul return to Bahamut, or will Atlas soul return to Tiamat, or will Atlas soul return to Seanine? Oh, when I knew him in life, he had felt abandoned and betrayed by Bahamut, but he had not yet begun to serve Tiamat. He had taken up with Seanine, believing that this freedom to seek self was how he wished to live his life.
Yes. My understanding of the situation is that turning to Tiamat was his act of desperation. and so I don't know that that would be, unless he specifically bargained with her for his soul, which I suppose is a concern, which might be worth asking, I guess.
It could be, yes.
How do you do strike through
Well-
in Discord?
Double tilde on either end.
Arik will actually speak up with that. If he has bargained his soul to Tiamat, there will be no treatment. There is no greater greed than that of the Dragon Queen.
I figured as much, so it's definitely worth asking, unless that influences, right off the bat, the question of whether it's possible for the souls to end up together.
And that's where I was here with that. If it's possible for them to be together, she will not have a claim to his soul.
Well, I would put forth that it could be possible for them to be together with Tiamat, if Eleanor chose to go that way. It does not necessarily eliminate that he is bargained to, promised to Tiamat.
The next question, of course, would then be, would Eleanor be willing to follow that path? But that's not a question the Raven Queen is likely to be able to answer.
We know that it is possible. It is possible. So that is enough for the Raven Queen. The rest is on Eleanor. What we need to know. So we get the answers, the rest, this is good.
And I believe you were about to say something else.
I am thinking. I am pleased with the first question. The second question.
Problem is, I have a third question written in here, but I don't remember who originally made the suggestion to even ask something along those lines.
Probably Dirk then.
Exactly, that's my
Well,
problem.
I'm not
But
looking
I
to.
think I was also on board.
Here's the thing. I'm not looking to derive you guys from any information you guys had previously. So if there's a question that you have from unknown origins and want to ask, your character can have thought of it. Don't worry about that.
Oh no, I wanted to find out whether the destruction of the tablet had anything to do with Atlas. That was the question I had wanted to ask, and I think Dirk was the one who put forth asking if instead he had an ongoing impact in favor of the followers of Nerul. That's how Dirk ended up putting the question. Although I think we were also trying to determine if we wanted to ask a little more specifics on how Atlas's oath was broken.
I do remember asking, that, the specifics about that.
I only remember that our belief was that it had been broken when he slaughtered the dwarves, since he had wantonly destroyed lives that were not directly related to the suffering of him or his wife. But I don't know if we confirmed that.
We could attempt to ask and hopefully determine that for certain.
I think all questions are worth asking, yes. I don't have any reason not to ask a question like that.
Question is, how do we phrase it? I guess a simple was Atlas's oath broken by harming those not wrong him at the Forgotten Fortress.
Seems
That was me reading off of what was last posited.
I am sorry. Aurelian, you wish a seat at this table, I think.
Yeah, yes, please.
You should make your suggestions as you think be helpful. He permits you to pass him so that you can move closer to the action. Oop. That works. Coker, move to the bed.
Yeah, go just kind of sit on the edge.
Aurelian,
Yeah,
did you want to get involved?
I'm thinking.
Oh, okay.
I can't think of any questions that are. I'm trying to think.
I'm sorry, I have forgotten that I have to move your token. Wrong.
Yeah.
I guess I can just say this out loud because we're not actively talking. My current issue in trying to determine the next question, whoops,
Nice.
is whether or not, because I know one of the questions we were trying to get to was whether, like, shut up, the portals that the undead have been crawling out of have any relation to Atlas's efforts. I think what we were trying to get at. But I think Melisar is probably more hung up on the tablet still. It's like, I know what we ended up asking, obviously. But I don't know how we got there, and whether it's something that Melisari would put it forth. But I don't think so. I think it was Dirk who put it out there, and I think I was more fixated on the tablet because Vecna keeps cropping up and I hate it.
When you say all that in character, right? Just double check.
No,
Oh.
because this is me trying to decide what questions I'm going to be putting forth
Okay.
or suggesting.
Alright, if you don't say it in character, then I have nothing to add at the moment.
Yeah. I think I would like to glean, while we're here, more information on Vecna's doings on this continent. Roland was there for our discussion about the sendings, right?
Yes.
Okay. Because I can't help but continue to think about the sending I received. And also, the White was here on Vecna's orders.
This is all still out of character thinking.
No, this is now in character thinking,
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
I have concerns that this, White may have been here because of myself and your friend Eskel.
Why is that?
When Illustre spoke to me and informed me of the power she was now able to grant me, she also warned me that I should be vigilant for advances from forces of Vecna, as they would be seeking to stop me and to silence me before I can spread the word of the existence and power of Illustre the Dark Lady.
Hmm.
As it is my purpose to do such things, I imagine I will not be free of them soon.
Do you think it's a simple matter of him being the god of secrets?
I know that he used his power as the God of Secrets to keep Illustre secret. She told me as much. He used the words, his greatest kept secret.
Does he have particular ties to Lolth? I feel like I knew that answer at some point and I can't remember it.
He does not have any direct ties. Given he's the god of secrets, however, that's not... You don't know of any, but you don't know of him specifically not having any either. So it's not really, it's a zero-sum game there.
Secret ties.
What? The god of secrets have secret ties? No way.
Way. Possibly. What I know is that we should expect to see more movement by this God of Secrets.
Wait, what? Sorry, I was lost in thought for a second there. What'd you say?
What I know is that we should expect to see more movement against us from this God of Secrets.
Did you guys see Aurelian's question posited?
Aurelian's question? No, I have, looking now.
I guess it ought to be spoken out loud as well.
Yes.
Consider.
Making sure that we can find out what was the cause if the answer is no without going directly to him.
Yeah.
It's reasonable.
Okay. So the white is likely more directly related to our party and our current, or our additional mission of spreading the word of Illustre, so it's not likely related to the same issue of the tablet in the Hall of Histories.
I merely suggest the possibility. I do not know myself.
No, the white also didn't know, so that is it's something I believe to be accurate. The white knew nothing about the tablet that was destroyed in the Hall of Histories, is what I mean to say, or doesn't seem to be. Does he question that at all, by the way?
Oh, me?
Yeah, like how I know that.
He wasn't in the battle. Any number of things could happen. He does not verbally question you. He seems to think on it, but he has not seen you do anything untrustworthy, so he imagines that you had some way of determining what the White knew. He is now much more aware of spells than he was before.
Kablam! Welcome to the world of knowledge.
Yes.
Alright.
At the elongated pause, like you're testing him, and just say, I take it you either asked him or read his mind to know that?
She kind of, like, comes back out of her thoughts that she wasn't, like, actually, thinking on whether Roland had interest. That was more me. So she seems to kind of come back out of her thoughts and says, yes, I can use the spell Detect Thoughts to see what's on the mind of any creature with intelligence.
Seems incredibly useful.
I have found it to be so. I think perhaps... Did we actually say Aurelian's question out loud at this point? Did I miss it?
I would like, I think that, Thomas should suggest it in character.
Unless the writing of the Discord was suggesting it in character. But either way, the stream is unaware of it.
Exactly.
No, that was me trying to work out the wording.
Yeah, I think your wording is good.
Okay.
But propose
How about if
oh, there we go.
If the thing about the Forgotten Fortress isn't how he broke his oath, we should ask if there's a way to find out what... If we can find out how he broke his oath without having to go directly to him. Like, does that information exist in the world independent of Atlas? Like in a library or something like that, or some old record.
Independent of Atlas is not the proper wording, as it would still, you know, be related to Atlas. I think that could be easily misconstrued, but something along those
I would hope that some god would not misconstrue. That's...
Am I familiar with jinns? Or rather, do they function in a similar... Or is there a creature that functions in a similar manner to genies?
You'd probably be aware, like, you would be aware of some, and you are aware of jinns. You have in fact met
I know,
one.
that's I was gonna... I'm like, I do know a jinn, but I don't think she's ever, like, Fae rules lawyered us.
No, but some of the high elementals are capable of granting wishes and will sometimes do that, as are a few other creatures, but they are rare. But at the very, like, even if you weren't aware of it from, like, a academic sense, there would certainly be, like, children's stories of that kind of a thing.
I think how it was worded in the Discord, though, is good. Outside of being known to Atlas as opposed to independent of Atlas.
I agree.
And, well, what if she says yes? Then do I get to ask what a hero color is?
What?
Urik is trying to find out what
Yeah.
the question is for, option 3B.
Oh, I know. I would still like to try to suss out more information regarding the tablet.
Well, that is something that's going to be difficult to, well, from what you've been talking about, it's going to be difficult to ascertain with a yes or no question. There's a
Need to work on the wording.
separate spell which could ask a single question with some components,
Are you referring
but
to
its
divination?
answer can be more broad.
Are you referring to the spell divination?
I am indeed.
She nods to herself. Sorry, I have to jump back to the information on the tablet.
Very well. That is 3 potential questions, assuming the answer to 2 is no. If the answer to 2 is yes, what would be your question 3?
So Melisari had been flipping back through her notebook to a different page and is now reading that. Perhaps was the tablet in the Hall of Histories destroyed in an attempt to hinder our quest to destroy Atlas? Does that sound reasonable?
Sounds reasonable to me.
Roland seems to be deferring to the others as he is less senior here.
If it seems apparent that that's why he's holding back.
Yeah.
Then Melly.
Melly?
We'll say, if you have input, you're welcome to at least voice it.
I would just like to hear the wording one more time.
Sorry, hang on, I'm now looking at divination and this stuff. I would probably have the components. I definitely have the gold. Would you think that incense and some sacrificial offering appropriate to say? Would Sayanine be a good person to ask that?
Sayanine understands volition.
Understands what?
Volition.
Yeah, I know. Except it says question concerning a specific goal, event, or activity to occur within 7 days. Which seems to indicate that it would not be useful in asking why something was done. In which case case, I would like to posit the question to the Raven Queen.
Seems reasonable.
Which I have worded somewhere.
Definitely helps when it's written down.
So I believe my wording was the destruction of the tablet in the Hall of Histories pertaining to Atlas's invasion of the Forgotten Fortress, done in an attempt to hinder our quest to destroy him?
You could say defeat.
Defeat, yeah, I think that is perhaps good wording.
Just in case somebody gets too specific and we do not destroy.
Whoops, that was supposed to be 3B, not 3A.
Can the information regarding Atlas' broken oath be found in the world outside of being known to Atlas? Yeah.
Alright, so I think we have our questions. And she is now rewriting so that it's not just a bunch of scribbles.
Yes. And so we
Was
use
this-
3B if the answer to 2 is yes, and if the answer to 2 is no, then we use 3A.
So, was the destruction of the tablet a Hall of Histories pertaining to Alice's invasion first done in an attempt to destroy the Death Knights?
To hinder our efforts to destroy.
Alright, that's why I'm double checking.
Defeat the Death Knight.
There we go.
Not gonna change it to defeat?
Oh, right. I forgot the verbiage actually used. Okay, then I think we have our questions. She, rereads through them to make sure that they are legible and the questions that we were trying to ask, and offers them to be viewed by others.
It looks good to me.
Sounds good.
Well, I guess ask away. Is there anything you need from us to cast the ritual?
Simply that paper in 10 minutes.
Okay. And now we wait.
Alright, and so after the 10 or 11 minutes go by, because I don't know how long the normal cast is.
In that time, I also want to cast Detect Magic. Because
Okay.
I think that'd be cool. Ooh, or maybe Comprehend Languages. No, wait, that's just red, isn't it?
No, it works for
No,
spoken too.
comprehended.
You just get the literal
yeah,
translate
yeah, it does.
translations.
I'm gonna Comprehend Languages. For fun.
Okay. You may do so.
Or maybe Detect Magic. I can't decide! I'm
Well,
I'm
pick before I
curious.
start giving answers, because that does make a difference.
I know. Cause okay, hang on. I want to insight check him for shits and giggles.
Okay.
God damn it. I'm not rolling very well tonight. 8!
Okay.
I assume you can't get a read on him.
Yeah. Can't really get a read on them.
Okay, that's fine. Then I will, I will choose to trust him. He's been helpful. I'm gonna cast Detect Magic.
Okay.
I'm very interested to see if there's anything that occurs magic casting commune. Other than obviously the magic itself. I want to see how spells look.
You'll be able to see kind of the magic as it's kind kind of woven together throughout the casting until there's kind of a presence in the room, and he'll ask the first question and then the second question, and you'll get these two replies, which he'll tell you. And anyone who speaks Celestial will know that these are what's said as well. I suppose I should say them because I forgot the stream. So, to question 1. Is it possible for the soul of the Death Knight Atlas and his wife Eleanor to end up together in death? Yes, though the fates strive against it.
Wait, I thought it was supposed to be just yes or no.
Typically, but you can get longer answers.
And they're usually cryptic.
This one gave you a straight, but then a bit of cryptic detail after it.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one, the second question was Atlas's oath broken by harming those that did not wrong him in the Forgotten Fortress? Answer, the intent is true, but the wording is false.
Interesting.
And so that leads me to ask this, with a 10-minute timer that I want to pull up. Do you ask question 3A or 3B?
That does make sense. I heard faiths rather than fates, so that makes it more cryptic, and I understand now why it was given.
I have started the timer, by the way.
Oh, we can't even understand this right now.
All right.
Unless you
is there a
translate
particular
it for us.
All right. What's unclear at the moment?
No, I mean none of us speak Celestial, I don't
Yeah,
think.
I had said that he says this as, like, he translates as the replies are given,
Okay.
and those who speak Celestial also know that that's what's said. I believe Roland speaks Celestial. I may be wrong on that.
Yes, Roland speaks Celestial.
Okay.
He's been giving rights to Illustrati for a long time, so he learned the language.
Well, it wasn't exactly a no, so perhaps we can ask.
Yes.
3B.
I was just about to say, I think 3B is going to be our best route.
Yeah, I think that confirms well enough that we're on the right path with this.
It is also possible that this Atlas will remember me, and perhaps I can ask him.
Yes. And I have other thoughts on how we might further convince him. And she kind of glances toward Al. But,
She shudders. Visibly.
Okay, then 3B.
3B.
All right,
Roland
let me
nods.
write that one out.
She's also looking to Aurelian to confirm, since he was the one who asked.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
And for question 3B of was the destruction of the tablets in the Hall of Histories pertaining to Atlas's invasion of the Forgotten Fortress, done in an attempt to hinder our efforts to defeat the Death Knight? Answer you get, not strictly your efforts.
Oh yeah, I guess others were trying to destroy
So,
it too,
Anyone might could hinder anyone. But it does confirm that it was with the intent of protecting this Death Knight. So whoever ordered this destruction did so as because they are interested in what this Death Knight can accomplish.
Oh, that is concerning.
All right,
extremely.
and that is the immune. In order to ask, well, did that clear anything up?
Roland is nodding, kind of looking around to the others.
Al would also nod. Yeah, I
Sorry, seems
suppose for the most part.
It does also add more questions, but I do believe it confirms for us that we're on the right path and that we may be able to accomplish our goals. It just may add some more complications.
Huh, I guess I should have pinned those in reverse order. Oh well.
As long as they're close enough, it's probably fine. Hang on, does our fancy monster still get its reduced health for the pre-punch?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
You haven't fought it yet.
Yeah, but
Might even
Eskel's
avoid it. We'll
here
see.
to pre-punch it.
What?
But Eskel's no longer here to pre-punch it.
I pre-punched
Doesn't
him in his
matter.
mind.
Okay.
He punched it through the voids of space and time.
Sounds good.
Matter of fact, if I forget, when you start the fight, you'll see a little portal open up and a purplish hand will come darting out and sock it in the face.
Oh my god.
Roll the punch face.
I'm holding you to that.
Well, like I said, that is canon at this point. I just might forget to say it when you get there.
Yes, I'm not gonna well, I can't really say that for sure because I have a shit memory, but
Team Goldfish.
aside from apparently being the only one who remembered that conversation.
Apparently. Congrats for that.
Pre-punch.
So that is a fair amount of information to take in. Do you guys think you'll be able to do anything with the remaining, with it in the remaining time?
Yeah, 15 minutes.
We can attempt to,
What do you
By all
attempt?
means.
at the very least, discuss our next course of action. Immediate course of action, obviously we know our goal, but had we taken a long rest before that fight?
No.
Excellent. I propose we take a long rest.
I believe this was the long rest destination.
Okay.
As
I don't-
morning is beginning to break with how it's lit.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, I just realized. We no longer have a dwarf slowing us down.
Well,
Nope.
he didn't anymore either because he had the helmet.
Well, yeah, I know, but now the helmet is not specifically of use for that regard.
Correct, but I mean, having someone always able to stay on watch or with extra dark vision never hurts.
Yeah.
Did it
Okay.
static add dark vision, or would my superior dark vision still be better than it?
It adds 30 feet of dark vision to whatever value you had.
Oh my god.
So if you had 0, you got 30. If you have 60, you got 90. If you have 120, you got 150. If you are somehow a Twilight Cleric, you got 330.
Amazing. The Twilight Cleric is an interesting concept. But no, I did not.
Okay, well then. With that taken care of, perhaps now would be a good time to rest. Do you happen to have... Well, I suppose with us now being all elves, we don't really need bedding. But a good place for us to ease our bones, rest our weary bones.
Yes, we have, as our members sleep in shifts, there should be some extra beds in the barracks, at least something soft to sit on.
She'll nod. Thank you. It was the tent just outside here?
Yes, the large white one.
Well, we thank you for all you have done for us.
And I thank you. If you've need of more, let me know. I can try to cast that spell again if things are still unclear, but there's always a chance my lady will not answer.
Yes. All being done, Melisari now feels weary, or appears very weary.
Just kind of a sudden wave of exhaustion.
Yeah, so she'll just kind of nod and then head toward the door if people allow her / begin also moving.
Al would start out the door.
God damn it, it keeps randomly shoving my view all the way up to the top again.
Yeah, I gotta lock the,
Even if I lock it, it does it.
Weird.
Mother of tits! Sorry.
Oh, mine's locked and it didn't do it.
Yeah, for some
You're
people it's a little finicky.
Alright.
Had not met the dog. Pet.
Ari forgets the dog's name.
Let me see if I...
Conpar.
Oh, right.
Conpar.
He just kind of blinks at you.
Do you like the pets? I will scratch this ear.
I don't recommend
I'm
doing
not sure how
that.
I feel about this.
Who hears him speak out of curiosity? Is it just Al?
No, it's vocal.
Oh,
It's everyone.
right.
But we had already determined that, right? I mean, we're
Correct.
with us.
Al was in fact not happy the last time he used it, because when in the battle, when you guys were fighting the ghouls, and he was surrounded, he requested a flame strike on his position.
And Al got pissed at whoever was the one that fired that. Very visibly pissed, too.
It was fine, he's evasion.
I will scratch both ears then. How do you feel about that?
It feels demeaning.
Hmm.
But you can't help but he can't seem to help his tail from wagging.
Al would call for Kanpar and run by him essentially what the next moves are if we end up discussing those at all.
Unless you need him for something specifically, he's just gonna sit outside and keep watch.
Sounds good.
Are you going in with them, Aurelion?
Yeah.
As you go in, if you were behind to any degree, Melisari walked in and immediately flopped down onto this thing and is currently writing in her notebook again.
You gonna be okay, Melisari?
Why would I not be?
The look on your
Although a
face
muscle
kind
might
of...
twitch in response.
The look on your face kind of says a little bit more than words could say, so figured I'd check.
And she will instead launch into...
Roland isn't in the room, just so you're aware.
Oh, okay. Well, she's still gonna launch into it. What do we think is meant by the fates striving against them being together? Do you think it's a simple matter of he is currently very against repenting? Or do you think there's more to it?
I personally believe there's more to it. But that included
Thoughts, Thomas?
Hmm?
Thoughts?
I can't think of anything.
Oh. Who or
I
what?
was just trying to. Oh, I get it now. The bloody answer to the last question took me a while to.
So, fate's conspiring to keep souls apart.
No, not strictly your efforts. Though it took me a while to. No, I get it now.
So,
If
fate's conspiring to keep the souls apart. Thoughts on what that might mean, Thomas? Remember that we've already, because of the answer to 3, we know that someone at least wants to keep the Death Knight a Death Knight.
Yeah, but are the fates?
I hadn't thought about that, and now it would be metagaming for me to think about that.
think about what?
That there is active attempts to prevent us from destroying or defeating Atlas.
I don't see that as bad. I mean, there is some indication against about that. With
Well, yeah, but I hadn't thought of it myself yet. There is reason to think that, and it is a reasonable conclusion. I just hadn't come to that conclusion myself.
I'm just trying to encourage Thomas to be.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think that in Greek mythology, the fates are an actual group. Does that happen in this world, or would I know? Or would I just assume that the fates just means that it's just like a kind of a vague statement of some outside force?
Your guess would be kind of a vague statement, of some outside force, as you put it.
Do
Like,
I
there's
know
no
differently?
deity directly, involved in the fate of things. Like, the closest you get is the Raven Queen, 'cause she deals with the fate of souls. and I guess the goddess of luck, whose name I've forgotten.
Wait, what?
Avandra, yeah. As luck could be seen as a kind of
Ah,
knowing or controlling the fates. But there is no specific known entity to like govern fate, as far as you're aware, and that applies for all of you.
Al would be looking around. Where's Roland?
Melisari kind of just glances up, glances down the barracks, and returns to her notebook.
Or not?
You
Got
can
it.
see him conversing with somebody, seeming to be asking about the equipment over there. They're just having a quiet, polite conversation. Sorry, Thomas.
It's just, I was trying to remember now because it has been a while. Do we have a timeline on when the tablet and the thing was destroyed?
The tablet itself, you know that it was fairly recent to when you guys had gotten there, because you're going to look at it is what discovered the destruction, and they try to keep a close eye on the hall.
Oh shit, that was one of the things I wanted to ask about with divination, was how recently it had happened. I remember that now. I don't know that I remember that now in character. A little distracted, but hey.
He doesn't seem to notice you, Al, as he's just having this conversation. Unless you need him for something, then you could call out, I suppose.
No, Al was more so just trying to figure out where everyone was, kind of keeping track of heads.
Okay, well, you found him. Now what do you do?
Excellent question. I think Al would kind of just be keeping an eye on him, but also keeping an ear on what's happening inside.
You hear scribblings. And then abruptly Melisari asks, do we know when Atlas became a paladin to begin with? Was Eleanor was aware of him being a paladin, correct? So it was sometime while they were together, or before that.
Al shrugs. I don't believe that was one of the things we had asked or inquired about.
I thought we discussed what his oath was, and she believed it to be
Oh, yes.
relating to getting vengeance on those who wronged him. Hang on.
Oh shit!
What just happened?
Well, Thomas died.
Yeah, I'm dead.
Al would
Pray for my soul.
look
No.
at Melisari. If
Fine, get
it
away.
comes to it, I'm
I think I dropped some chocolate,
willing.
so pray for that.
I'm willing to be the quote sacrificial lamb again.
We only have my protection against evil and good again, don't we? Damn it. The curse is in Elvish, by the way.
we would all understand it, so...
I know. Just for flavor.
Fair enough.
My own
Yeah.
personal headcanon that when you guys are just talking about your spells, it's just in Elvish now.
I mean, it would make sense.
Limit the amount of people who can understand that.
I mean, just frankly, because it would be like your first language.
Yeah, but I'm sure we're all in the habit of speaking common when in mixed company, at least. Unless we want to keep something hidden, but...
We can no longer play
Yeah.
Elf Dwarf.
Nope.
Play Elf Drow.
Drows are
it's the
still
same thing.
elves.
Oh, goodness. Yes, okay. Eleanor was aware of vengeance oaths. So, because she had put the idea out that her oath was to get back at those who had stripped him of his cushy lifestyle. Possibly the people impersonating clerics of Bahamut. Anyway, and Melisari was flipping back and through her notebook and said, yes, that was correct. Was kind of muttering under her breath. So what wording of that question was false? I guess
Al
it is
would
kind of
raise an eyebrow.
which Melisari does not see.
Was this the second question?
Yes.
It might be that he harmed those who did wrong him, or he harmed those that did not wrong him someplace else.
Yeah, I suppose that's a possibility. That would work. The intent would be true in that he did harm those who didn't wrong him, but the wording false, and that it wasn't at the Forgotten Fortress. Fortress, apparently.
Fortress.
Fortress.
Oh boy.
Not to ruin the discussion, but we are past your time limit, Kate.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
It's okay.
Okay.
I'm getting ready as I think and throwing in thoughts as I go.
I mean, as things have kind of slowed down and it is past the time limit, and I have had a severe need to use the restroom for like the past hour,
Fair enough.
I think I would like to call it there.
Yeah, you shouldn't be holding that in. That's bad for your prospect.
Yes.
So, I will perhaps be back to chat in a minute, but after all.
Okay.
Yeah, I will.
Call it there. Bye, stream.
Bye, stream.
Bye.